The third thing that people noticed about Varbis was his height. He was well over 6 feet tall, but stick-thin, like a normal proportioned person, modelled in clay by a child and then rolled out. The second thing that people noticed about Varbis was his eyes. His ancestors had come out of the deep desert tribes that had evolved that peculiar trait of having dark eyes. Not just dark of pupil, but almost black of eyeball. It made very hard to tell where he was looking. It was as if he had sunglasses on under his skin. But the first thing they noticed was his skull. Deacon Varbis was bald by design. Most of the church's ministers, as soon as they were ordained, cultivated long hair and beards that you could lose a goat in. But Varbis shaved all over. He gleamed. And lack of hair seemed to add to his power. He didn't menace. He never threatened. He just gave everyone the feeling that his personal space radiated several meters from his body, and that anyone approaching Varbis was intruding on something important. Superiors, 50 years his senior, felt apologetic about interrupting whatever it was he was thinking about. It was almost impossible to know what he was thinking about, and no one ever asked. The most obvious reason for this was that Varbis was the head of the Quisition, whose job it was to do all those things that needed to be done which other people would rather not do. You do not ask people like that what they are thinking about, in case they turn around very slowly and say, "You." The highest post that could be held in the Quisition was that of Deacon, a rule instituted hundreds of years ago to prevent this branch of the church becoming too big for its boots. But with a mind like his, everyone said he could easily be archpriest by now, or even an I am. Varbis didn't worry about that kind of trivia. Varbis knew his destiny. Hadn't the god himself told him? "There," said Brother Numrod, patting Brother on the shoulder. "I'm sure you'll see things clearer now." Brother felt that a specific reply was expected. "Yes, master," he said. "I'm sure I shall." "Shall? It is your holy duty to resist the voices at all times," said Numrod, still patting. "Yes, master, I will, especially if they tell me to do any of the things you mentioned." "Mention? Good, yes, if you hear them again, what will you do?" "Come and tell you," said Brother dutifully. "Tell you? Good, yes. That's what I like to hear," said Numrod. "That's what I tell my boys. Remember that I'm always here to deal with any little problems that may be bothering you." "Yes, master. Shall I go back to the garden now?" "No, I think so. No more voices, do you hear?" Numrod waved a finger of his non-patting hand, a cheek bucket. "Yes, master." "What were you doing in the garden?" "Hoeing the melons, master," said Brother. "Melons, melons," said Numrod slowly. Melons. Melons. Well, that goes towards some way of explaining things, of course. An eyelid flickered madly. It wasn't just the great god that spoke to Varbis in the confines of his head. Everyone spoke to an exquisitor sooner or later. It was just a matter of stamina. Varbis didn't often go down to watch the inquisitors at work these days. Exquisitors didn't have to. He sent down instructions. He received reports. But special circumstances merited his special attention. It has to be said, there was little to laugh at in the cellar of the Quisition, not if you had a normal sense of humour. There were no little jolly signs saying, "You don't have to be piteously sadistic to work here, but it helps." But there were things to suggest to a thinking man that the creator of mankind had a very oblique sense of fun indeed, and to breed in his heart a rage to storm the gates of heaven.